Here we go on a Saturday. It's another Bears Rookie Minicamp recap episode coming your way. Mark Carman and I both out at Hallis Hall today. Got a lot to bring to you right now on the CHGO Bears Podcast. Welcome into the CHGO Bears Podcast, a Saturday edition because Bears things are going on. And when Bears things are going on, the CHGO Bears Podcast is always there for you. And today is no exception. Rookie Minicamp, Day 2. My name is Adam Hoge. He's Mark Carman. And we got a lot coming your way on today's show. Hello, everybody.
Ho, good to see you. Steven producing, you out in Bears land. Thank you for checking in on a beautiful Saturday. I do have to start the show with a brief apology to Adam Hoge. I was out this morning on the soccer field with the amazing Beckett Bernfeld. I was coaching up, and then I was kicking the ball around, and it felt like a summer day. Then I got in the car, 5 minutes really of the drive to Hallis Hall, and all of a sudden the wind was howling and it was freezing. So Hoge's, I'd like to apologize to Hoge for his extensive preparation that we talked about on yesterday's show. And we don't need to go any further than that, but Hoge, Tom Skilling, whoever you are, congratulations on your expert home preparation, road preparation, Bears preparation.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the accusation was soft. was what I was called yesterday for putting some layers on in preparation of the Lake Forest wind chill. That'll hit you hard sometimes. And today, Carm was cold. So who was soft?
Well, I wasn't, because I luckily had this thing, this extra fleece in my car, which I have no idea how that was in there. But I'm still wearing it now because I'm thawing out from the rough and tumble Hallis Hall. What's the word I'm looking for? Hallis Hall, the outdoor inclemency. Thank you very much. All right, we can start the show now. Great.
All right. As we always do with our practice recap shows, we will dive into our best and worst thing we saw, heard, witnessed, whatever, at our time at Hallis Hall today. I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball. It is day 2, so we get a little bit off the headliners from day 1. But there's a undrafted free agent by the name of Jade Walker from Texas A&M, Carm. He's just a tick under 6'3", 199 pounds. Certainly looks the part in terms of size out there as a wide receiver. And his route running looks pretty good. He stood out to me as somebody who is getting open, running good, smooth routes, getting compliments from the coaching staff after reps. The only blemish to his entire day I saw was he probably should have made a catch on not the best thrown football of all time, but he reacted like he should have caught it, and he probably should have, especially at the NFL level. But I think this is an interesting undrafted free agent, Carm. Again, he's got the size, basically 6'3", and he ran a 4.45 in his 40 time too. So he's got the speed.
Yeah, and it's interesting because before I put out my top 3 takeaways from the day, I had not looked at our show rundown, and I put him in there as number 3, which seems like a bit of a rookie minicamp leap. That I said that Jade Walker, whatever I said, is he's impressive, and I think he's got a chance. He's got the speed, and he has a chance to, I would think, make the practice squad. I think that's a realistic goal for him. He stood out, man. He's got the size, he's got the speed, he's all over the field, and I don't know. It's rookie minicamp. There's no pads on all these things, but that he did absolutely make an impression. No doubt about it. All right,
you do have to work on his number though. He's running out around and wearing number 20, I don't know if we can get that figured out by the time OTA start. And I will say he is a little bit thin too. So, probably gonna have to put on a little bit of strength. And that wide receiver room's deep. So maybe not the best position to be stuck at right now on this Bears roster, but somebody to watch going into the summer.
Well, it's also confusing because they have 2 number 20s on the roster. Zah Frazier is also wearing number 20. What do you think? I'm smart enough to figure out who's who at this point?
Yeah, because one of them is wearing a blue jersey and the other is wearing a white jersey, and that is a very common occurrence in training camp because the Bears retired half the numbers.
Okay, can we bust out a 19? Is 19 retired? I don't see any 19s running around here. I'm not smart enough to be. I'm like, is that Zah Frazier playing wide receiver? That can't be. Okay, and then I figured it out. Thank you very much. But I would just think there's got to be another number available.
You want to give your best, or do you want me to go to my worst?
No, give your worst. Go ahead.
Yeah, people probably saw it on social media, and we don't really have much information to share, unfortunately. But right at the end of practice, Luther Burden went up, seemingly made a nice catch. Actually, I don't even remember now at this point if he caught the ball because I was too distracted by the fact that he seemed banged up when he landed on the ground. It was on the far sideline, a little bit farther down the field. We didn't have a tremendous view of it. It's one of those things where, sometimes guys, they land on the football weird and it could be getting the wind knocked out of them, or it could be worse. We don't know. Ben Johnson was not available today. We have no idea how he's going to handle injury situations because they haven't happened yet since he became head coach. But Declan Doyle, the OC, was the offensive representative giving a press conference today, and he was just like, I'm going to defer to the head coach on the injuries, who wasn't talking. So unfortunately, we don't have more to share on that. I don't mean to sound any alarm bells at all, but Luther Burden, one of the top picks in the draft, one of the featured guys out there on rookie minicamp weekend, didn't like seeing practice end that way, and he was getting looked at by the trainers when practice ended.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I didn't see it, so I don't know either. But I do know that Luther Burden getting hurt at rookie minicamp is not how you want rookie minicamp to go. So that obviously, I think that is by far the worst today. But I will.
And again, it could be nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we're not. This is not somebody that got carted off the field. So let's pump the brakes. We'll find out if they talk about this tomorrow at all. I'm guessing they won't, but you never know. My best from the day, and we're going to get into this down the line here. I was wildly entertained by Eric Bieniemy, the new Bears running backs coach. Some of us in life, we need a little bit more accountability. Get out of bed, do your push-ups, brush your teeth, get ready for your Bears podcast, go wash the wall. I mean, anything. If Eric Bieniemy was around me every day, I don't know where my production would go to, but it would be higher. This guy it is dynamic how he is looking for accountability with his running backs group. So again, we'll talk about that further, but it is a different voice in the Bears coaching room. My worst on the day were actually the running backs, who did not, very small sample size. I'm not, you got to kind of reach for a worst on Bears rookie minicamp. But Kyle Monongai had a drop. Somebody else whose name is forgetting me right now.
Christian Grubb.
Yeah, just tripped over the cushions that were laid down that you got to run over. I don't remember seeing anybody else do that. So it was a stunning. Maybe they were intimidated by Bienemy, because that can happen when someone's yelling at you. You're not maybe your relaxed self. But it was a kind of a bad news Bears starting. But like the bad news Bears, the Bears running backs did find their footing and did fine after that. But it was like, okay, it just reminded me that I'm not exactly sure how this whole running back room is going to turn out. My other worst, that part B, which also could be my best, Hoge, if I may. Apparently Caleb Williams, as I know we have some sound on this, but apparently he's like walking around in the dark by himself at Hallis Hall going through plays because he wants to be great in year 2. And I both think that's great that he's doing that, and I'm a little worried that Caleb is by himself just trying to simulate what's going to happen come OTAs and actual training camp.
I have 2 takeaways from the last, 2 or 3 minutes of the show. The one is I might have Steven be your Eric Bieniemy. Like I think we might assign Steven here to actually just get on your ass all the time. You do need that.
Well, see, I've been working on this for about, I don't know, a decade. My own accountability to being great every day, but none of us, yourself included, even the great Adam Hoge with his work ethic the size of Botswana, if you will.
Is that a big country?
It's a huge country, absolutely enormous country. Mount Kilimanjaro, there, large mountain, that level. We all need like that. People need to be pushed. You just do, because however far you think you can get further. That dude, however talented this running back room is going to be, I think he's going to get him there.
All right. My other takeaway is you might have to be banned from ever having any Caleb Williams takes because you're worried about him walking in the dark, which I didn't even. Let's get to that. I didn't even hear that part. All I heard was he was in the building doing extra work.
I said, hey, to Rogue Agent 88, I said it's both the best and the worst. If it was Beijing, it'd be the best thing. Yeah. I'd be a little bit worried about Beijing too if he was walking around.
No, don't do that. Your Rogue Agent 88 is 1,000% right.
Hey, listen, that's because this guy. Never mind. We're gonna let's hear. Can we let's move along. Get into some Caleb here.
Declan Doyle, the Bears offensive coordinator, talking about Caleb Williams today.
I would say that he is very eager to do work. He's here after hours. He is really trying to get it right. You know, we're giving him scripts, and came in last Saturday, and he's down in there in the indoor trying to walk through it by himself. I think it's really important to him that he gets it right. I think his teammates can feel that. I think his teammates feel a guy that's trying to take the next step, and that it's been a really positive exposure thus far.
From your vantage point, was there a key aspect of Bo's mix of success last season that you feel you guys have accomplished so far here?
I think building it around Bo was the biggest thing that we had in Denver, and we're trying to do the same thing here where, as we go through OTAs and training camp, we're going to have a better feel for, this is actually what the offense looks like. We're going to give them a lot, and then we're going to narrow it down from there. I think that we're in the process of doing that.
That follow-up question, I don't know how good the audio was on that question, but it was about Bo Nix because he was in Denver last year with Bo Nix.
Slightly odd follow-up. But yeah, go ahead.
But so what was I missing in there that was concerning?
He said he was walking around in the indoor. I don't know what that is. And he's by himself.
A walkthrough is what you do when you walk through plays. And the indoor is the indoor facility, which is either he's talking about the Walter Payton Center or they have an indoor virtual reality field as well.
Okay.
Neither of which are concerning. They're places of work where the quarterback gets work done.
Well,
Carm's brain goes, so he's walking through the dark by himself.
He said on the indoor. On Saturday. Are the lights on Saturday? I don't even know if the lights are on. Is the equipment is Tony Medlin there on Saturday? And by the way,
Tony today. It's a Saturday.
Okay. Well, listen. This was rookie minicamp. Medlin's in the building.
Actually, I hope Tony wasn't there.
You don't think? Hold on. Do you don't think that's just a little bit odd that they're giving him scripts and he's trying to get it, and that he's walking around like going through them by himself? What? I think that's. I think there's some level of and it could be dark, Hoge. Who knows? I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure he completely understands. By the way, if you play back the soundbite, he's it wasn't the most glowing soundbite I've ever heard.
Stop talking. He was there by himself because it was Saturday. It was an off day. The team wasn't there. He came in to do extra work, which is exactly what you've been asking him to do. And now you're being weird about it?
I'm not being weird. I'm just having fun with it. He's by there. Who else is there? He pulled in on a Saturday. Declan Doyle's in the buildings. Here's a script. Go walk through it in the indoor. What's going on here, Hoge?
I'm trying to explain to you what's going on, but you're not listening.
Okay. I got it. It's great. It's absolutely great. Look, Caleb's doing extra work. His teammates can feel it, and we're good. I got it. No problems. This is awesome.
All right. We're going to take a time out. We'll come back. We're going to talk more about the coaching staff because I do think that they've been maybe the stars of rookie minicamp so far. Certainly one of the more entertaining parts of this first weekend that we've been able to see this version of your Chicago Bears get on the football field. But first, we're going to talk about a place Carm clearly went before this show started. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your quarterback takes and your summer. What are some of the amazing features that make this brand Sunnyside so awesome? Well, it's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. They got locations all over the place in the city, in the burbs, even farther than that. And if you're just starting out, Sunnyside has expert guidance and brands we know you'll love, like Good News and Mindy's. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. That's right, 50%, 50. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Your promo code is HICHGO. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day. Only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
Always so good. And how about our friends at Empire Today? Just like your favorite team needs the home court, home field, home ice advantage, you need the home floor advantage. Empire Today can help you get it. They've got the flooring experts, the dedicated professionals who focus on flooring every single day. And look, you've gone to the big box store. You've wandered the aisles. You have no idea what you're doing. Wouldn't you rather have Empire Today, who lives and breathes flooring? Wouldn't you rather have them come over to your home, sit down with you, and you can pick the right flooring, the right colors for your space right there, and you can actually visualize how it'll look with your furniture in your house? That's what they're going to do. By the way, precise measurements taken right there. You don't have to worry about any of that. They'll do it right there for you. That's sweet. A lot of us don't like getting out the ruler. Schedule yourself a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. CHGO listeners, that's right, you get $350 off. You get that discount when you use the promo code CHGO. Yep, you heard that right. A $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details.
All right, let's talk a little bit about this coaching staff. And we can start with Eric Bieniemy. Carm started the show talking about the it's interesting watching Eric Bieniemy coach. And it just so happens to be the running backs are right in front of where the media is standing. So we're about 5-10 feet away from the running back drills that are going on. And there's no question he's getting after these guys. Now, there's only 3 running backs there, too. That's the other part of this. Like, there's 3 guys, and one of them almost certainly won't be here beyond this weekend. But Kyle Monangai and Deion Hankins, of course, the Bears drafted Monangai. Deion Hankins is an undrafted signing from Texas State. And then Christian Grubb is the tryout player from Portland State that's here. But, it's interesting, Carm, because Eric Bieniemy has been, I don't know, one of the most famous non-head coaches in the NFL over the last 8, 9, 10 years. I mean, really since the Chiefs dynasty started. And remember, he took over for Matt Nagy as the OC when Nagy became the head coach of the Bears. Won Super Bowls there. Then decided it was finally time to leave because he wasn't getting the head coaching opportunities for some reason. He goes to Washington. That doesn't last long. He ends up on UCLA staff last year, back in the NFL now, simply as a position coach. So it's one of the harder things to figure out, honestly, why this guy hasn't gotten the head coaching opportunity. And I'm not going to lie, Carm, because this is our first exposure being around him, on a more day-to-day basis. I was watching him today coach up the running backs, and I'm like, I want to see what this guy would be like as a head coach.
Yeah, that's exactly where I went. I'm like, oh my God, you certainly could be at the top of the room here and command the audience. But look, it's been a conversation in the NFL, to your point, for a decade. When's Eric Bieniemy going to get a head coaching job? Why hasn't Eric Bieniemy gotten a head coach? This is he has to go somewhere else and be an offensive coordinator because Andy Reid's calling all the plays. Well, however, his career has dived and moved around in different ways. The fact that the Bears were able to get him here as a running backs coach, a veteran in that room with, let's not forget, I mean, Ben Johnson is a first-year head coach. Declan Doyle is a first-time offensive coordinator. To have somebody like that in there who, one, is going to command respect immediately, and two, I mean, he seems like he's going to be a great teammate. So I just, when you think about who the Bears have had in these positions, not to take shots at anybody, but like last year when they hired Kerry Joseph to be the quarterbacks coach, and you look at his resume, it's like, what? Like that doesn't exactly scream the guy that you want to be developing Caleb Williams. But that's what they did. This dude, a lot you hear from a lot of coaches around the league, might be the best running backs coach in the game. And by the way, the Bears need help running back. They need a good running backs coach to get the most out of that room. So I just loved his energy. I think it's going to be absolutely phenomenal for the team.
Yeah, look, we have a lot to learn, a ton to learn, obviously, about Ben Johnson as a head coach. We don't know really much about how it's going to go. What I do know is the last 2 days, standing out there on the practice field, the same field that we've stood out there for hundreds and who knows how many practices I've watched out there, maybe 1,000 at this point. All right, Eric Bieniemy is right in front of us. I got Antoine Randall L over there getting after the wide receivers. I got Al Harris over here getting after the DBs. And Dan Roshar, the offensive line coach, over here. And he's a little bit – I was watching him closely today too. He can be a little bit more reserved and a little bit more teachy rather than yelly. But when a guy didn't do something right that he had already corrected once, he got after him. So I'm just, the point is I'm looking over here on this field, over here. And like, there's just a lot of respect, like commanding your attention. Now, you do always wonder, like, when does it wear off at all? Do guys start to get tired of it? Right now, everybody who says they want to be coached hard, and I think they are being coached hard, but I think so far I've been impressed. It feels different. That's what I'll say. It feels different from a lot of the other staffs I've witnessed on those same fields over the years.
I have never, and listen, I haven't been there quite as much as Hoge team, but I've been there for a long time, here and there, dating back to, I don't know what, 2007. So I've never heard a coach yell at players, "Don't touch the cones." Like the cones are on the ground. We put a video out from our Twitter, CHGO Bears. He was legit pissed that guys were taking their reps and they were not going around the cone but actually touching the cone. It bugged him because it's attention to detail. And then there was another moment where I forget which running back it was, doesn't really matter. Instead of, when his drill was done, instead of running the ball back to where he started the drill and handing it off to a coach, he threw it back. And Bienemy is like, "Don't throw it back, run it back." And it's like, doing everything the right way. It's a great lesson to learn whenever you're learning in life, because if you're cutting corners there, you're going to cut them over there too. And it's going to end up catching up to you. So if you do everything right, then chances are that's also going to catch up to you too, because you're going to be that much better in the moment. So listen, this is, let's not forget where we're coming from here too. Last year, everyone was saying this team needs more accountability. This team needs someone to call it out when they see it. That's where this team was. This dude, I don't think he's going to let anything go. It's already rookie minicamp, and he's like at 120%. The dude was on fire today.
So I'll give you another example. Right at the end of practice, I think it was the last rep. a guy who I started the show praising, Jede Walker. He's walking back after a rep downfield, and you heard me, Carm, go, hustle back.
Right.
I'm not yelling at him, but I'm just saying that to Carm because we were actually just talking about how we were standing there talking about how we liked Walker's practice. But I was like, I don't like that he's walking right now. And whereas in the past, I might say something like that or realize that and no one on the field, right as as it was coming out of my mouth, I don't know who it was, but one of the coaches got after him. It was like, come on, run. And he got back to the huddle, and it was actually the end of practice. So they were, huddling up as a team. But the point is a lot of times I've seen stuff like that slip. And even in that moment, someone yelled at him, get your ass over here. And so I think there's been a lot of that the last couple of days.
And for the record, just, it is easier to do in a rookie minicamp where guys are fighting for their careers, trying to make get an invitation, trying to eventually be considered for the practice squad, and then ultimately be on a roster. It's a little easier to let it out there, than it would be taking on vets. So we'll see when they.
Yeah, but I think this is who these guys are.
Exactly. Yeah. But I think that we're going to see it there too, because this is who. To your point, I think it feels exactly who they are. I don't see Eric Bieniemy backing down once DeAndre Swift's around. I highly doubt it. And Swift, for the record, that guy works hard. His work ethic is not an issue for him.
Yeah, it's here's another thing is like there's a huge contrast in experience across this staff. So on one end, you have like Bienemy, who's been out there forever. You got Dan Rochar's been out there forever. There's other guys on the defensive staff that have been in the league like 20 plus years. Then you got Declan Doyle walking around out there for like his first practices as an offensive coordinator. And yesterday, Ben Johnson said that this is like a coaching orientation as much as it is a rookie orientation. And, Declan talked about that today, saying that, yeah, it's like our first time out there as a staff. He's taking note of Eric Bieniemy. Like he even pointed out, he's like, yeah, you guys get to see him coach right in front of you there. And some of the things that he's learned from Coach Bieniemy. So the point of me bringing that up is like, it's still going to take time for this whole staff to gel, but the rub from like what you can learn if you're one of these younger coaches on the staff from some of these guys that have been around forever, this is going to be an interesting thing to watch throughout the summer.
So, Steven, I just put in our Bears channel a picture of Declan Doyle. This is a slight left turn here, Hoge, because it's a Saturday show, and I see Hoge looking very, very concerned right now. Declan Doyle, you talk about attention to detail, which matters in that position and everything that he does. Did you notice anything about Declan Doyle today and his appearance? That's a no?
No. I'm even looking at the photo that nobody else can see.
Well, what if Steven could pop it up there? He has the most, you can't tell fully from what you're looking at right now, but that beard is meticulous. It is like perfect. He's got a great, whoever he's going to for the hair, for the beard, I guarantee it's like first-class professional. Like he just looks like a guy who's got 10 pencils perfectly organized on his desk, and then he's got the pens, and they're all color coordinated, and he's probably doing the Adam Hoge thing too, where he's got all sorts of like just weird iterations and deviations and organizational strategies that make him great. And I would just just his appearance was impressive. And Hoge, as we get to the bottom of the hour here, I just want to call myself out because I don't know if you know where I'm going. You definitely don't know where I'm going on this one, but you didn't say anything to me today. But I walked in yesterday for the $10 haircut on good old ALLCITY on my way to a premium soccer game, because I was like, you know what? I need a haircut bad. Let's just go $10. And this is one of the worst cuts I've ever had. The sideburns are above my ear, and I'm headed towards the military, and I got what I paid for. And it was, I walked out of there like just midway, I was just straight horrified. And I was like, well, this is going to be a 3-week process to get back to it. Attention to detail. Declan Doyle looks great. I'm coming at you in another way right now, and it was.
I don't think it looks that bad, but
okay. It's. I mean, it's fine because I'm just so damn attractive, but it was a blow, and she was so nice, but the breath was kicking, and just took this massive and I'm like, oh God, there's no coming back from that, and yeah. Anyway,
Pizzola, we got the full Carman experience today. You knew it was coming on a Saturday. We're just
listen. It's day 2 of rookie minicamp. We got to get it all out there.
Okay.
I learned my lesson. Declan Doyle at 29 years old, 20 years younger than me, 22 years younger than me. He didn't need that. The dude looks fantastic. He looks the part. Damn it, Declan Doyle. That's how I bring it back around.
Well, we got more coming here in a second, but first, Carman's gonna tell you.
I am
about our friends at Lucy.
I absolutely look forward to this opportunity because you know why, Hoge? Our friends at Lucy, if you need the nicotine fix, there is absolutely no place better to go out and get it. Look, level up your nicotine routine like I did today with our friends at Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO and use the promo code, write this down, CHGO 2025, and you get 20% off your first order. Now, Lucy, if you don't like the product, they've got a 30-day refund policy. If you change your mind, you're not going to do that. One more time, it's lucy.co. Use the code CHGO 2025. Get yourself 20% off. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
And whatever the sport, you know what it is. The app to bet is Circa Sports Illinois. Circa Sports, it's sports betting the way it should be. Circa Sports Illinois has high betting limits, low holds, and exceptional customer service. Bet on all your favorite teams in every game this season. Spreads, props, futures, or in-game. Circa Sports has it. Fund and bet like a pro from anywhere, anytime in Illinois. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right. We heard from a couple players today. There weren't as many as yesterday, but your 4th and 5th round picks, Ruben Hyppolite, linebacker, Zah Frazier, corner. Got to hear from them today. I liked a couple things that they got into, but look, if you saw our interview last week that we did with Ruben Hyppolite, you probably heard some of the stuff already, but his journey to getting drafted by the Bears, somewhat surprisingly, in the 4th round is pretty incredible. He presented himself very, very well, just like he did in our interview last week today in his first press conference at House Hall. But I thought we would share the journey with you again, just in case you missed it on CHGO last week.
Misery loves company. There's a lot of people that don't know what I had to go through to get this opportunity. You just look at my story, just not going into the combine, not going to the Senior Bowl, Shrine Bowl. I had the Hula Bowl, which, I give a lot of, credit to Nick Logan for trusting in me to play in that game. But just that. And then I called the NFS twice to see if I had a combine invite. They said no. So going through that and then just, going through training, the whole combine season, and just, chopping wood, carrying water, going through it every day, and then having my opportunity. I want my one opportunity at Pro Day, doing that, and then I went on like 15 visits, took like 30 flights in 2 weeks, just back and forth across the country, doing my meetings and stuff like that. So, all of that is just a combination of, me getting this opportunity now. Definitely don't take it for granted. I'm very grateful for, everybody upstairs for believing in me and in my ability. Now it's time for me to put it together. I just love my story for anyone who's, out there, who thinks that they need, things like the combine invite, the Senior Bowl invite, that who thinks that they need that to get drafted. You don't. You just got to put your best foot forward. You got to run fast, and you just got to be your best self every day. And I feel like I'm showing that. I got a lot of messages, a lot of love, a lot of hate too, but that's what comes with it. So I'm all for it.
Dennis Allen today, I asked him kind of a follow-up to yesterday. Ben Johnson talked about yesterday about how DA has a prototype that he likes at linebacker. So I asked Dennis Allen today how Ruben Hyppolite kind of fits that. Obviously, they drafted him in the 4th round, higher than most, expected him to go. Number one, he can run. Like, that's the big, the biggest thing is not shying away from that. He can run. Talked about how that can, that sometimes even at linebacker, you got to line up against a slot receiver sometimes, depending on what the opponent's doing for you. And so if you got to go vertical, they feel like Ruben Hyppolite can run vertically with somebody who's probably going to be a little bit faster than him. But beyond that, talk about how mature he is, business-oriented. These were all things that Dennis Allen pointed out, already referring to him as a pro or somebody that can be, he's going to become a pro really, really quickly. Mentioned how he has his life in order. Those are all things that if you did not hear our interview with Ruben Hyppolite last week, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to it. You might not have known, and again, raise my hand. I had the same deal on draft day. Did not know a lot about Ruben Hyppolite when the Bears drafted him. Everything I have read, heard, seen, even the last couple days, like, I could see why the Bears took a swing on this kid. Even to the point that I thought he was pretty hard on himself. Talking about yesterday's practice, it didn't think it went well. Made those corrections, felt like today was a lot better. Pointed out that Dennis Allen even told him, hey, I need more from you tomorrow. And he appreciated that coaching. Super interesting.
Yeah, and I'm seeing it in the chat, RCFN 2010, and elsewhere, rooting for this dude, right? I mean, this is one guy that is pretty damn easy to get behind. Humble, driven. You don't need to go to be invited to the combine and whatnot, but most times you do. You overcame massive odds to get there. So credit to him and believing in himself and continuing to work and putting his best foot forward so he could run as fast as he did. You have to, I appreciate that greatly. Ruben's just instantly likable dude. And the Bears are making these trait bets. It's the same thing with Zah Frazier. He's long. He's he stands out from when you look at him as a guy who looks like he could play in the NBA at whatever he is, 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", I forget exactly. And he's also super thin. And Ruben, we'll have to see it on the field, man. It's one thing to run fast, but it's another thing, to be able to get there and make the tackle. But he's definitely. I loved how he carried himself with us in our interview. I loved how he carried himself today. So let's go. And the other thing too, by the way, and it doesn't work like this, but if the Bears had drafted Monungai in the 4th round and Hyppolite in the 7th, it probably would have landed a little bit better with some that are calling it out. Even myself included in the moment, why are you drafting a linebacker here when you really need a running back? But, bottom line is that, and Ruben, this is long-winded, Hoge, but Ruben talked about, there was the run on linebackers. And if you go back and look at it, there was a ton of linebackers picked right in front of him. So that's why the Bears went up and grabbed him when they did.
Well, in a different year, maybe that would have played out that way, but there was a ton of running backs. There weren't a ton of linebackers. So once those linebackers started to go, all of a sudden Ruben's like, ooh, I might hear my name called sooner rather than later. And that's the truth about the NFL draft. Sometimes the position depth can take a guy who's got an undrafted grade up a lot higher and somebody that I had a 4th round grade on Kyle Monungai, and he's still there in the 7th. So stuff like that is real, and expectations certainly do play a role in how people view these things, like anything else really in the world. It might have been Coach Richard Smith, the linebackers coach, by the way, that said Hyppolite need to be better on day 2 instead of Dennis Allen. So if I got that wrong, I apologize. The point is, a coach, Hyppolite, brought up, was like, hey, we need to see more from you tomorrow. And today was much better. I thought there was also a couple interesting things there that he brought up. By the way, good job to Courtney, because I actually failed to I meant to ask him this in our interview last week. There's been a big mystery about how old he is because no one has a birthday on him. And so Courtney got that asked and answered today. Good job by her. September 16th is his birthday. He's 23 right now. So he will be turning 24th on September 16th.
Why was there a mystery on his birthday? Do you have any understanding of that?
Because it wasn't listed anywhere. Brugler didn't have it. Maryland's website didn't have it. No one knew how old he was. And don't shake your head at that because you spent 3 years joking around about how old Velus Jones was.
I'm just imagining Ruben Hyppolite's gotten to May the 10th in his life where he hasn't had to tell anybody his age, and then Courtney Cronin and on a Saturday was like, well, how old are you? And he just gave it up just like that. I would have almost appreciated if he had gone undercover like, yeah, well, you're going to have to find that one out. I might have been born. I might be 37. He does look older, doesn't he? He's like older.
23 was a good. I was glad to hear 23 because 24 seemed like it might have been on the table.
Yeah, well,
he's certainly a little bit older of a rookie, but we knew that because he was in college for a while.
Yeah, 5 years in Maryland. Also, like to those like saying in the chat, like, wouldn't it be better if they had drafted him later? That's not Ruben's decision. I'm not saying it was a shrewd pick by Poles in the 4th round. I'm just saying that I'm rooting for it to work out. I hope it does.
Of course. Some sort of real life thing with some of these guys. Remember, these are more just things I'm sharing because we don't always think about them. But a lot of these guys haven't played football in a long time. Ruben pointed out, I haven't played football since November. Like getting out there on the practice field the last couple of days. I remember that being a thing with Caleb last year because remember, their season ended early. He didn't play in the bowl game. He hadn't played for a long time between when his season ended in November and when he got out there on the practice field for rookie minicamp. And then another real life thing that the reason I'm bringing this up is because Ruben said the coaches have been trying to hammer this home. And I think it is a very important message to get across to rookies very, very fast. And a rookie minicamp is a great place to do it. You're not in school anymore. There's no class. Football is your class. So you don't have more free time now. You just have more time to do more football. Okay. Instead of going to your history class and your history lecture or whatever, no, go spend more time studying on the playbook or the install, or now there's walkthrough, practices longer, whatever it is. And it was interesting to hear that the cornerbacks got together last night at the hotel. The linebackers got together last night at the hotel. This was not something they were asked to do. The players did it on their own. Because it sounded like yesterday was a whirlwind for a lot of these players, Carm, and they weren't totally comfortable with how they digested everything. So they spent more time last night so that they're more prepared today.
Yeah, and Zah Frazier talked about that he got everybody together, and they went over so everybody would have a good day today. And Frazier said, no man left behind were the words that he chose. And that's phenomenal in theory, and it's the right thing to do. But it's also, to me at least, even that much more impressive because these guys are all fighting for an opportunity. You might not want to tell somebody what you know because they might be that much better, and then your position, your chance to be on the football team goes down a notch because someone's that much better. But so to actually be someone who is looking to make everyone better in a rookie minicamp, to me, that's super impressive. Frazier, talking about likable dudes, that guy's incredibly likable. Great attitude, big smile on his face, a lot of energy. I could see why the Bears fell in love with him, sitting down with him, when they did.
I also loved when he was asked today, now switching to Zah Frazier, and I do have some thoughts on him as a player too, but he was asked what his goals for the weekend were. And he was very simple about it. Be coachable and don't make the same mistake twice.
It's awesome. I loved it.
Like that was it. Just, I want to be coachable, and whatever mistakes I may make, because I know I'm going to make them, just don't do it twice. And man, I'm telling you, Carmen, if players just zeroed into that mentality every single day when they show up to practice, they would get so much better every single day. Just listen to what the coaches are telling you. When you make a mistake, everyone's going to make mistakes. Just don't make the same mistake twice.
Can you imagine if this show was able to incorporate that, how much happier you would be?
I'd be a lot happier. Yes.
You'd be so much happier. I could make you so much happier. I'm gonna work on that, Hoge. Be coachable. Don't make the same mistake twice. I mean, I got it.
I would
that
save
was
a
awesome,
lot of money in therapy sessions.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
You'd be richer. You'd be happier. It'd be a lot of good things there.
My wife would be happier.
Yeah. Well, when he said that, I'm like, and I wanted to follow up, but I didn't, which was I did not have my best day today with the questionings. But I was wondering,
you can channel your inner Ruben Hyppolite, Carm, and come back tomorrow.
I'm going to come back tomorrow stronger. But I was wondering, how did you do on that? But it seems like he judging by his energy, at least, he seemed like I think a bunch of Bears had a much better day today.
Yeah. If you're wondering about Zah Frazier, the player, the length and the height is very, very. You notice it right away. He is also super skinny. Not just skinny, I would say super skinny.
He's thin.
But I thought it was. I had not thought of this, which is why the Bears are the Bears, and they're they're NFL people that get paid to work in the NFL, and we're not. Dennis Allen pointing out that Zah Frazier, talking about that length and size, similar frame as Al Harris, who's now his position coach. And it's like, oh yeah, duh. Like if you just picture Al Harris when he was playing in the league, 100%, like got the length, got the size, but skinny. And Dennis Allen also singled out one play today. That was Zah Frazier making a really good play in press coverage, trailing the wide receiver who he was on. I'm forgetting who it was in the moment. And then getting the pass break up. And I love that Zah Frazier, after getting praised by the coach, came right back and was like, yeah, he explained the play, but he's like, I want the ball, though. And he did not get his head around. Otherwise, he maybe could have gotten the ball. And that is what Al Harris has been preaching to these guys nonstop. Get your hands on the football.
Yeah, he was in great position there, though. So it's a nice little tip of the cap by Dennis Allen to him. Another guy I'm rooting for, bottom line. That frame is scary because you get in the wrong collision with that thing. It might not end well, but hopefully he'll figure out how to keep himself out of harm's way.
He's in a spot, though, where, like, unlike Ozzie Trapillo, obviously completely different position, different side of the ball, but in terms of, like, guys that have a lot of things you like that you're just wondering, are they going to be ready right away? Like, Ozzie might be needed. Zah Frazier, he could probably take a redshirt year. They got plenty of depth at corner. And I'm not even sure he needs it because he might play well enough that, he can get on the field on special teams as a gunner or something like that. But I'm just saying, like, it's not going to be as urgent for him to have to get out there.
Yeah, he feels like practice squad would be a great spot for him and maybe get called up in the middle of the year and get a chance if the Bears need help with injuries and whatnot. Since you brought up Trapillo, if I may, Hoge, number one, we talked about this yesterday. The Bears have 5 offensive linemen, 6'5" or greater at rookie minicamp. These dudes are freaking huge. I was right down on their line today when they were walking, I think they're on the 10-yard line, lining up just to get going. I'm like, these guys it looks like an NBA team. It's unbelievable. And Trapillo stands out. I mean, he's a big boy up there, and he has a great grunt, Hoge. Trapillo, when you get in there, the grunt was real. Good grunt. It was a good, solid Trapillo grunt. Take that for what it's worth. And I saw somebody was asking about center reps here. Our guy Newman, I'm not going to say he was phenomenal today, but for all the Lukes out there, he did him proud. He looks capable. And also my guy Vincent Murphy, who I talked about, that guy's violent. Vincent Murphy's got some physicality to him, Hoge.
Okay.
So
There you go.
yeah. And go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to switch the subject a little bit. We got an NFL snidbit that we need to discuss before we get out of here. Also get a couple of your super chats as well. I do want to take a moment, though, to make sure everybody's aware of what we're doing on June 6th. This is less than a month away. Our second annual CHGO Cookout Classic. This is going to be a lot of fun, you guys. Village Links of Glen Ellen. If you've been to one of our golf outings before, they're super fun, super casual. Unless you're playing with Corey Wooten, then he's going to be super intense about it. But Friday, June 6th, this is all happening. Village Links of Glen Ellen. That logo is fantastic. Last year, I don't know what the gifts are going to be this year, but last year you got a ball marker that had that logo on there, which was fantastic. Here's everything included in your entry free. 18 holes with a cart. It's a 4-person scramble. You get limited edition CHGO tee gifts for every player. There's hole contests. We got great giveaways and prizes. There's lunch, drinks, and a ceremony after the round. There's also been some sources, Carm, that have indicated that apparently Greg auctioned himself off. Did you hear about this?
I did, and I think you did the same thing, did you not?
Well, I think so. I'm a little confused if that was actually legitimate, but apparently Greg auctioned himself off to play with 3 other listeners in the foursome, and that came out to $600. I know he was like kind of bragging about it. That seemed low to me.
600 is cheap to play with brags.
Well, it's a nice golf outing, you know.
Yeah,
that's a price for the whole foursome, by the way. It's not per person.
Right. So three people coming in, spending 200. You're rocking to play with Gregory.
But by the way, I'm not being serious. I realize it's a lot of money. I'm just having fun with Gregory.
Yeah, no, I mean, believe me, I'd pay $6,000 to golf with Greg Braggs. Actually, I'd pay $6,000 to not golf with Greg Braggs. But
pay $600 to tee off on the opposite side of the golf course.
Yeah, but in true competition, as we do here on the CHGO Bears podcast, Braggs has been bought, so now Hoge and I are both in there. If you want to golf with us, the opportunity is there for you. I've made myself available as well. I would be honored and flattered, and also we'll have the most fun, and we'll win because I am now officially dedicated to being the best golfer I can be. Nathaniel B, I'll pay $6 to play with Carm is kind of how I think this is going to go, but you just. You watch out, Nathaniel B. Someone's coming in big here because they know what a hootenanny I am, and it is true.
Well, I'll give you some advice. I mean, if you're looking to, get your most bang for your buck in terms of potential to win this thing, you might want to go with Steven.
No, you don't. It hasn't been going well for me. You don't want me to golf for you right now. We got to get the driver figured out.
Okay. You're out. Well,
I'm out.
I'll play okay, but you're not going to win with me. Trust me. I don't think I ever want to scramble, but we'll be in the mix. We'll be headed, mostly in the right direction and not in the woods.
You play with me on buying drinks. Let's go. I know it comes with some alcohol, but anything you want. I'm going. You want to get a couple of hard-boiled eggs before we get out there on the first tee because I think that's available. It's a great way to start your golf day. I got you. Come golf with Carm.
Or, you pay double if you'll get Carm and Pizzatola in the same. There you go.
Maybe Pizzatola will splurge. Could go full 18 with me and Pizzy. He'll kill me on the 16th hole. It'll be awesome.
Something tells me that wouldn't end well. All right.
I got a couple other Bears that I want to shout out who had good days
go ahead.
before. Yeah. One is JP Richardson, the 5'11" wide receiver out of TCU. He's wearing number 26, UDFA. He's flashing all over the field. He has some speed. Hands are impressive. I liked him.
Also, I'll back you up on that. Smaller guy, he's 5'11", 192, older prospect, 23, coming out of TCU, one of the undrafted free agents, so he's not one of the tryout players. Kind of a smaller slot type wide receiver. I wrote down, though, today, Carm, soft hands. Like, he catches the ball really smoothly and has some punt return ability. So keep that in mind, too, with J.P. Richardson from TCU.
And I'm glad, good confirmation there. And shout out to Caleb Williams' best friend. John Jackson caught a bomb today. Looked good doing it. Obviously a first-year player. There's a handful of first-year players out there. He's one of them. John Jackson's a great dude. Been on our show, rooting for that guy. Made a nice catch today.
I was confused why they call them first-year players. I mean, I get it because I don't think they technically accrued a year to be called second-year players. So they're not rookies, but they're not second-year players. So I guess you gotta put it somewhere in there. But Austin Reed, Carl Jones, Jordan Murray, tight end, Theo Benedette, the Canadian Eagle, John Jackson, and Joel Wilson, also a tight end. Those are all your first-year players who are really in their second year, who are part of rookie minicamp, if that at all makes sense. All right, big retirement today, Carm. Your guy.
Yeah.
Derek Carr.
You know, for all of us who argued correctly that in Justin Fields last year that Derek Carr would have a better second half of the season, I think I'm the only one on that team and got it right. Thank you very much. We're all feeling it today. Great competitor. Shoulder injury ends the career at least a little prematurely. But Dennis Allen was asked about it, spoke well of him, although he hadn't called him yet. But, yeah, Derek Carr, kind of one of those guys who had, I would say, a pretty damn decent career, but gets literally no respect from 85% of the NFL fans.
Yeah, I mean, 4-time Pro Bowler. I've always had, as much as we had fun with that Justin Fields, Derek Carr debate, I spent most of his career praising Derek Carr. I'll never forget back when I used to cover the Senior Bowl that year that he was just out there, and I'm like, this dude's really, I mean, he seems pretty good. And he ends up going to the second round, was a really good starter. Was he a blue player in the NFL? Probably not, but he was definitely a player that at times the Raiders definitely won because of. Put up a lot of yardage, and at the end, I understand why they moved on. This thing with the Saints has been very interesting because it started as like, oh no, all of a sudden he's got a shoulder injury, he might not be able to play this year, and now he's just sort of seemingly forced his retirement. It's all been very surprising, but I also think it creates an interesting situation for the Saints, which I'll bring up here in a second. But go ahead, Carm.
He's just 22nd all time with 41,245 yards. I get it, played in the throwing era, but he's ahead of Montana. He's ahead of Johnny Unitas. He's ahead of Boomer. He's ahead of Jim Kelly. So that's obviously. I'm not saying he's a better player than any of those guys, but it just historically where he stands is pretty high up there.
So with Derek Carr retiring, the Saints quarterbacks right now are Tyler Shuck, who they just drafted in the second round, Spencer Rattler, who they drafted last year in the 5th round, and Jake Haener, who used to be at Fresno State, who they drafted 3 years ago, technically 2 years ago. So last year, so it went Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler, Tyler Shuck, 3 straight drafts that the Saints drafted quarterbacks. I don't know if any of those guys, though, you can rely on to be full-time starters. Maybe with Shuck, we'll see that, but he's got to develop. I'm already seeing in the chat, does that open the door for Aaron Rodgers? Do you go to the Kirk Cousins route? All this stuff. Oh, Chanton with the chat here saying the situation seems strange to me. He's not that old, could easily come back next season and play. I wonder if his injury is worse than thought. It is an interesting situation. But what I'm going to say here on the Saints, this should be a reset year for them.
Yeah.
Because you have a new coach. You went in a different direction with quarterback. They've had salary cap problems forever. You got a chance here to bottom out. And Fran Duffy said something super interesting on Wednesday's show this past week. He said, look, the expectation right now is that Arch Manning will go back to school after next season and stay for his 4th year. But certainly seems like the family is heavily involved in how Arch Manning is developing and taking his time in college. And you do have to wonder if the hometown New Orleans Saints were drafting first overall, that'd be a hell of a reset if then you land Arch Manning in the draft next year and kind of go down that direction. So I just wonder, it doesn't seem to me like the Saints are too upset that Derek Carr is retiring, and they might just be ready for sort of an organizational reset this year.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Just as long as, on that organizational reset, they don't call up the Bears and want Tyson Bagent, because actually I'd be happy for Bagent if he got that opportunity. But I don't know. I don't know. You stay in house.
Plus, you can evaluate Shuck this year too. Play him. See what
sure.
he is.
Sure, why not? It is. Steven's putting in the chat too that the Bears are playing the Saints this year. This is a good development for the Bears.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's one of the home games. As we've said a few times, and by the way, we got a big schedule show coming up this week. We will be live on Wednesday night when the schedule comes out. We will break it all down as we always do. And if you missed earlier in the week, we did a wish list for the schedule if you want to go back and check that out. But the home schedule's pretty nice. The Bears can be a home team this year that wins their home games. It's the road schedule that's pretty concerning. All right, we will wrap up the show here and wrap up, our weekend of shows for CHGO Bears because we will have coverage tomorrow from house, but we will not have a live show on CHGO. We will be back Monday breaking everything down. Couple super chats on the way out. Rodissimus Prime, is that how you say it? $5. Carman has the best ability to turn any conversation into a story about himself. True me guy.
No argument. Thank you.
And another one from Rodissimus Prime, $5. What's the over-under on how many of these guys make the roster?
The draft picks +2.
There you go.
That's optimistic.
Maybe we just do 8 draft picks, 9. Let's just set it at 8.5.
That's about right.
There you go. All right. Again, we are out of here. Check out all of our coverage, allchgo.com. Pat Norton has some written stuff up there as well. And Carm and Pat will have tomorrow's 3rd day of rookie minicamp completely covered. The whole group will be back together Monday at noon on CHGO Bears. Thanks to Steven producing. Talk to you guys on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend.
We all silly like the mayor.